Welcome everyone to Gamer Meld. Today we have some wild stories. Microsoft isn't doing a streaming only console, AMD announced 600 series GPUs, and Nvidia is talking smack. But first, it seems like every week a new company has a data breach and oh, you may be affected. Okay, but was I? Well, now you don't have to wonder with today's sponsor, Privacy.com. It's a free tool that lets you create virtual cards that are tied to a single merchant. So not only is your real card number not being used, but if a hacker tries to use the virtual card somewhere else, you get a notification. Plus, you can set the maximum amount you want taken out monthly or even total. So for subscriptions, you can determine how long you're subscribed for and forget about it. The site is really easy to use, and they even have a Chrome extension that autofills your cards for you. To top it off, when you add a funding source today using privacy.com/gamermeld, you get $5 free. So visit that link or check it out in the description below. Did I mention it's free? Okay, it's news time, and first up for today, it looks like Microsoft isn't going in on streaming as much as early rumors and leaks suggested. In an interview with GameSpot, head of Xbox's Phil Spencer stated, quote, "We didn't say that a streaming console was in the works. I think maybe some people thought that that was the discless one that we just shipped. We are not working on a streaming-only console right now." Well, that pretty much definitively says it for those who thought the streaming-only console was a thing. It's not. Instead, Microsoft is apparently releasing normal consoles and focusing on their streaming service xCloud, which they showed off some at E3. Next up for today, AMD has quietly announced their 600 series GPUs. At first I was pretty aggravated because they're almost exactly the same as their 500 series, but after looking at it closer, I have a glimmer of hope, though not much. Anyway, on AMD's website, you can see the company released 5 new 600 series cards specifically for their OEM partners: the Radeon 610, 620, 625, 630, and RX 640. When it comes to specs, each one is somewhat a copy of a similar 500 series part. The 610 is the same as AMD's 520, the 620 to 530, 625 to 535, and so on. As TechSpot predicts, this is likely due to pressure from OEMs so they can have a new processor to market in their desktops and laptops. The third quarter release of these cards even goes hand in hand with Intel's upcoming 10th gen processors, so OEMs are getting new products ready. With that said, there is a couple things that give me slight hope. For one, you may have noticed that the names for the 600 series are one step below the 500, and they're identical in every way except for a couple things, some of which are obviously just a mistake, but others not. For one, the new parts are listed as 4th generation 14nm GCN hardware, which isn't the case with their 500 parts, minus the 540X and 550X. Plus there's strange things here and there, like 4 MB instead of 4 GB, which is definitely a mistake, but maybe they are slightly different. Basically, there's no way AMD would release 7nm chips for their absolute bottom stack of cards. There wouldn't be a reason to. 7nm is still new and definitely pricey. So because they went with a lower number for the same specs as the higher 500 card, we could see a much more powerful RX 580 successor, possibly something on the same level as Vega 56, but at the same price as the 580. Then as we move down the stack, they could just push those cards back. So there's a slight chance AMD is actually planning to release even higher tier 600 cards. But then again, it could mean nothing and they just wrote 4th gen GCN. I'm honestly not sure. Also, this does tell us the naming scheme for next gen mid to low end cards likely is the 600 series unless they're stopping at the RX 640. At the end of the day, while these are a rebrand and a rather annoying one at that, there's at least some hope for a better RX 680. Lastly for today, Nvidia's CEO made some pretty bold statements during the company's recent earnings call, and I figured it would make for an interesting topic. During the Q&A session, the CEO stated, quote, "Super is off to a super start and at this point, it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to buy a new graphics card and it's going to last through 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. To not have ray tracing is just crazy." Now, it's that last part that I obviously want to go over, and I don't want to phrase this in a way that makes his statement seem worse than it is. Nvidia actually had a great quarter, and the CEO was just marketing their cards. Hardware ray tracing is definitely something they've invested a ton into, and they do believe in it, so the statement itself basically boils down to it's crazy to buy a GPU without ray tracing today, although he definitely didn't say it in the best way. But I get his point. Ray tracing definitely seems like it's going to be a big thing in the future, whether we want it or not. I mean, consoles will include support for it, AMD will have it before long, and Intel is even working on it with their discrete GPUs. So it's definitely becoming something. The issue is that as of right now, where we are graphically, the drop in FPS from using it, especially on a mid-range GPU like the 2060, simply isn't worth it for a lot of users. And hey, as hardware gets faster, it very well could be worth it in the near future. But I just don't think we're there yet, and as long as gaming game devs make it an option, plenty of gamers will turn it off. So one day, maybe. Though I will say Nvidia just announced ray tracing will be supported on Minecraft, so who knows? While that does it for today, what did you think in the news? Do you think ray tracing is getting huge, or will it never be mainstream? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to check out privacy.com in the description below. And if you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, have a great day.